All right, welcome to Bon Jovi Discussions. Today I have my buddy David. He is from, I'm going to pronounce this wrong, Nova Scotia. Scotia.
Nova Scotia.
Did
You got the first time.
I get it right out of those three times?
You did. You did. Nova Scotia.
How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on today. I'm excited to be here. Hope you're doing well too.
We always talk on Twitter quite often, almost every day and stuff. And it's great to actually have this video chat. And I'm glad to have you on. We're going to be talking about this bad boy today. We're going to kind of stray away from the albums, but not stray away. Technically, this is a live album.
That's right.
So it's One Wild Night live from 1985 to 2001. And this is actually, it was released to kind of make up for not releasing a New Jersey tour album back in 1990, because the New Jersey tour, they recorded different tracks because they were going to plan on releasing a live album. And unfortunately, I think the record company said no to that. So we never got a live album. And they were known to be one of the best rock band to see live. And so thankfully, after 17 years, we finally got a live album. So before we get into it deeper, what's your overview on the album?
I really enjoy it, and kind of like you just said, it was so long overdue. Bon Jovi being such an amazing band live, it was just like almost a shame for decades to not have something in a physical copy for fans, right? So I remember when it came out, buying it the first day, running down after work to get it, being super excited that it finally dropped back in 2021. And I was reading your tweet there the other day, and I said, my goodness, it's been almost 20 years. Hard to believe, but it was long overdue at the time, and one of my favorites, actually. I think it's a bit underrated.
It is, and I also want to note that we're talking about the very first live album. We also have to remember that 1984 to 2001, there wasn't internet was just starting to come out in 2001 with being able to hear live music and stuff like that, but YouTube wasn't around, and so you weren't really able to hear live music at that point. Now you can go on YouTube and listen to live tracks and watch videos and stuff like that. So back in 2001, yes, this was a big deal. And it's funny because I became a fan when I was an 8-year-old boy, discovering Crush. And so this is actually the very first album that came out after that. I always get the albums the first day now. And I remember my birthday is on May 7th, and this album came out on May 22nd. Right. And I remember I saved all my birthday money, and looking back, that CD was like $20, but I said I'm not going to buy anything else with it. I want to buy this on CD, and I want to get it on cassette.
Yeah.
And so I ran over to Walmart the day that it was released. Two and a half weeks later, and I run back to the music section, and I got my copy, and they didn't have any cassettes, unfortunately, but they did have a CD. Yeah. And 20 years later, it's still in my hand right here.
Yeah, me too. And like I said, I remember you get that. It was back then, new release Tuesdays at the time. And I remember as soon as I finished work, I remember running downtown and going to the local record shop and excited to get this. And of course, just, having Crushed the year prior, of course, and has a bit of a similar album cover feel.
Yeah. And I'm glad you brought that up, because that was my next thing too, is I kind of like how they mimicked the Crush album cover, but in a live setting. And I love the back.
Me too.
This too. Yeah. And since we're talking about this, we got to dig deep into the booklet, because like how the booklet unfolds in the Crush album, it does the same in A Long Night. And so they have live photos from all the way from 1985 up until 2001.
Yeah.
And so there's just a lot of, really cool photos. I remember I got another CD of this just so I could hang up this picture, because obviously I didn't want to touch the one in my booklet.
Yeah.
So I had this picture hanging in my room when I was a kid.
Cool. Yeah.
9-year-old kid. But and another thing that needs to be pointed out too was we also got like not official releases per se,
Yeah.
But we got these two gems too. This one, I think this was a fan club exclusive, if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken.
Unfortunately, I was never able to get those.
Yeah, I think you get on. I've seen it online here and there, but this is actually really cool. It has uh show you, it has like different cuts and stuff. But it
Really
was
cool.
given out, I think, on the last show of the One Last Wild Night,
Okay.
and it was recorded at the China Club in September of 2000, and then
Nice. Yeah.
and then we got Tokyo. This was sold in Japan at the time.
Right. I knew that one. Yeah.
It was a
Yeah.
Tokyo Road. And, it
Yeah.
has yeah, it's pretty cool. Um, so yeah, so we got those gems out of the album, but how about we start digging deep into the tracks?
Sounds good.
So the before we do that, I want to mention one thing. The only thing that upsets me about this album is that they did not put any live tracks from Superman Wet Tour, the New Jersey tour,
Mm.
and Keep the Faith tour. It's like they ignored 1986 to 93.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I wonder why.
well, yeah, it kind of irritates me because like this was kind of to make up for not releasing that New Jersey tour album. Well, you didn't put in New Jersey,
Yeah.
and someone mentioned it to me on Twitter the other day. I forget who, but someone had mentioned that there should have been three cuts of this album. Like,
Definitely. Yeah. I read that too. Actually, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
yeah, and I was like, you know what, that is a great idea because it would have
Yeah.
been cool to have three different versions of this, different colors, different artwork,
Yeah.
and like do one from the '80s, one from the '90s, and then one from the Crush and One Wild Night tour. Well, they
Yeah.
could have done the One Wild Night tour was to support this album. It was a continuation of the Crush tour, but they still could have done it.
Or it certainly could have easily been a double album, even where to get more songs on.
Yeah, that's a good idea too.
But I do like it. It is a bit like a a scrapbook, if you will, a mini scrapbook, because
Yeah.
it does cover with the exception of those missing years, a lot of different eras.
Yeah.
So it does give you a bit of a snapshot through time.
Yeah, that's
Which I
true.
think is interesting. Instead of just having one live album from one night, it does give you those extra, tours throughout their career where they're starting out with Runaway and In and Out of Love, going right up to, at the time, It's My Life and so forth, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. I think there was, I'm sure it's hard to, because the record company has a say, and then the band has this, and then obviously, John has a big say. So it would have been interesting to see how they kind of what their ideas were with this. But at the end of the day, I'm thankful we had this out because it's a great album.
Yeah, and just to get a live album at that time was so exciting, wasn't it?
Yep, it was. So the first track is "It's My Life." It was recorded in Toronto on November 27th, 2000. So this was recorded during the Crush tour. So
That's right. Yeah.
with this release, it was very recent. I We'll get into it, but I think "Living on a Prayer" should have been the opener of this album, just the way that we'll get to that track.
Okay.
But this was also a great way to open up the album too. It's kind of like Crush, because it opens up with "It's My Life,"
Yeah,
and then
for sure.
you have that as the opener on this one. So, but so what's your feel of "It's My Life" on this one?
I liked it as the opener. It just kind of mirrored when Crush came out the year before, like you said. You want a good rockin' track to start with, and at the time and even still today, there's none really too much better to open with than "It's My Life," right? I think it was a solid choice. Kind of gets the atmosphere going for the concert. The opening sounds of "It's My Life," I think, kind of gets you in the mood to feel like you're at a live show, and I think it kind of sets that picture up for the listener, really well. There could have been more than one choice, like you said, with Prayer. Personally, when I see a concert, I like Prayer at the end. As we're going to get into Prayer. Although I did see the These Days tour, Jerry, and on the These Days tour, I think Prayer, if I remember, was second or third on the set list, which was kind of unusual because all the other times I've seen Bon Jovi, it either closed the show or it closed before the encore came on, right? Yeah.
Well, see, I live in complete jealousy of you then because, like I said, I became a fan when I was 8, and that was in 2000. So that was when Crush was coming out.
Yeah.
And thankfully now you have YouTube and
You do. Yeah.
DVDs, and you can
Yeah.
kind of look back at all those tours and think, wow, how much I wish I could have experienced those tours. And so looking back, because like from 2000 on, you either saw Prayer as the first song,
Yeah.
or nowadays you see it as the last song. And it's so weird when people say, oh, or you look at videos and you see that it was the second or third or even the sixth song in the set list, because
Yeah.
now it Living on Prayer it's at such a stature that you either got to open up with or you got to close with it.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. I agree.
But we'll get to Prayer here in a second. But one thing I like about It's My Life on this is how John's vocals are in the chorus. They're very, very strong and they're powerful, and it just you feel his vibes in this
Definitely.
song. Like why he wrote it and what the song is about, and it's so good.
I find whether you're in a concert in person, when we were able to do that before the whole COVID mess, or even just listening to a live album like this, I find you get that extra layer of meaning behind a song. I don't know if you feel that way too. When you're at a concert and you might have picked up something at that concert or even listening to a live album like this that doesn't come across in the studio track, right? Mm-hmm. Whether it's the rawness, whether it's that extra energy, whether it's you really get the feeling, or when John puts that emphasis on a certain part of the song, or maybe it's a story he's telling prior to the song, or as we get into Saturday Night Later, the changes in the middle of a song, there's those different items that come up in a live setting that you just don't get on the studio copy, and It's My Life, you're right, I do feel that passion on that track, and you could tell it comes from his heart, and saying Frankie said I did it my way, and he put Frankie in because Sinatra being his right. idol and his influence, and and that, of course, Sinatra has been passed down to generations and generations, and partly because of the song too, I imagine. Yeah. But it's just such a cool course on that, and you can tell that the band really means it when they're playing it, right?
Exactly. That's what makes the song so great. It takes it to another level.
For sure. Yeah. For
sure. So let's go to the next one, "Living on a Prayer," which was recorded in Zurich, Switzerland, August 30th, 2000. Obviously, this was on the Crush Tour DVD. Mm-hmm. And so that was a great performance. So I'm glad they put it on here. Like I said a couple minutes ago, I think this should have been the opener on the album, though. Yeah, just because it's kind of like how the DVD started. Mm-hmm. And, it's kind of like you could tell they're opening up with the song on this album. And I wish they kind of would have flipped it and put that on there.
Yeah.
One thing I love about this and how they interpret this on live is the way that it leads into "You Could Love a Bad Name."
For sure.
Come on, you gotta talk to me. I want to know, are you with me tonight? And then all of a sudden, take a boom, 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 and then they start going into. I love that.
Yeah, I mean, and like I said, I remember when I go see Bon Jovi in concert, one of the first albums I turn to is this record here, because it gives you those flashbacks to seeing them live, right? It's so cool. I mean, it just captures some of that energy that you would see if you're actually in the rink or stadium that night, right? And I love how it just kind of segues right into it, and they kind of flow, and it gives you flashbacks to actually being at a real Bon Jovi concert, right? So I love that too. It's just cool.
And I think Tico is so strong in the way he makes the drum sound. As far as his drum sounds so strong, and it's so tight and good. I love it. Sometimes I listen to this live track and I just listen to Tico because it sounds so good.
Yeah, for sure. He is really, really great to see in concert too. And we're talking, I think, when you were doing the New Jersey discussion a while back, one of my highlights of one of the shows that I saw, not to make you jealous again, but on the Keep the Faith tour. That just means I'm old, Jerry, basically. But on the
not
Keep the
old,
Faith,
just older.
That's right. I love you. Yeah, that's what I was saying when that song came out, right?
Yeah.
But I remember on that tour, if you watch it on YouTube, the intro to "Lay Your Hands on Me," when David and Tico just played off one another. And it was really, really neat. And they did an extra long instrumental leading into "Lay Your Hands on Me." And you just see the talent and the musicianship of David, and Tico is just such a phenomenal drummer, right? And it's evident, like you said, on tracks on this record too. If people haven't heard it, have a chance to check it out.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up too, because we should have done before we got into the tracks, but we should talk about some of the performances and some of the songs that should have made this album. So we'll save that for the end. We'll just go track by track.
Okay.
But I'm glad you brought that up because we'll definitely talk about that.
But
Especially,
prayer being just like one of my favorite Bon Jovi songs. You know,
yeah,
you can, when you see that live and you hear it, whether it's first, second, last, it just
yeah.
isn't. It's one of the greatest songs ever done, in my opinion. It just stands the test of time, right?
I've seen the band. I've been to 52 shows now.
Yeah, yeah,
And every single time I've seen Prayer, you get goosebumps because it's a song that every single person, whether you're a general fan or you
yeah,
don't know the band or that you're a diehard like us,
yeah.
every single person in that arena or stadium knows that song. And it's so empowering to hear every single person sing it
Yeah.
with the band. And it gives you goosebumps every
It
single.
does, and it's just like a wave of energy just goes right. It really is. It's like being just a giant wave of energy going over the crowd. You have to experience it to really put it into. You can't put it into words. It's just like it's just such a high.
It's electrifying, you know.
Yeah, electrifying.
So we'll go to the next one. You Could Love a Bad Name, and obviously that's another huge hit. And it's the same Zurich, Switzerland, August 2000. From the Crush Tour DVD, and good performance.
Yeah, yeah. Again, one of the favorite, and actually, just a fun fact on the side here. I think the first Bon Jovi song I ever heard. You
Oh,
know,
really?
well, I remember being in like junior high at the time, and you know, my brother having the old fashioned '80s ghetto blaster boombox type of things,
Yeah.
and him just like he's like 4 years older than me, so he be a little more music than I was at the time, and he was just blasting that song constantly. And I remember thinking, wow, what an amazing song. And then of course it just Slippery blew up, and Prayer came after that and won it. And then I remember being so excited when Bad Medicine in New Jersey dropped a few years later. But that was a song for me that got. I know you said you think it was It's My Life for You. Bad Name was a song for me that got my interest in the band, and it's always one of my favorites in concert, and it has that certainly that extra energy in the crowd too, and you can hear it a million times, whether it's your first Bon Jovi show or 10 or 52 or every time you've seen them. It just never gets old, does it? It's just one that you just love to hear.
Yeah, and it's on the Because We Can tour. I love seeing the band open up with it too, with the way that because I remember you see the band take the stage, and then all of a sudden you hear it was all pitch black, and you would hear the band sing "Shot Through the Heart" and "You're to
Yeah.
Blame," and then all of a sudden you see a spotlight hit John in the middle of it. Oh no, he says, and then you hear John saying "You Could Love a Bad Name," and all of a sudden the spotlight hits, and then boom, lights go on. I love that when they did that on that tour.
Yeah, very
And
cool.
obviously this was before, or this was after the One Wild Night album,
Right. Yeah.
12 years
Yeah.
later, but it was still cool.
Definitely.
Next one is Keep the Faith, and it was recorded on the Crush Tour in New York City on September 20th, 2000.
That's right.
This was a really, I was kind of, I think they could have ended with this track on the album because the way that it ends, this is probably one of my favorite outros, especially with the drums. The drum outro on this song is so freaking good. Tico.
Yeah. Yes.
So it's one of those ones I love to work out to because just the way the band comes together at the end, and it pumps you up.
And Richie solos on it, of course, are fantastic.
Oh, I
And
know.
it just is such a good uplifting song, right? Like you said, maybe you're having a hard time, you're trying to get your energy to do your workout, or maybe it's just one of those days or weeks, especially you're in, obviously fits true today with everything the world's been going through the last year. It does give you that kind of kick that you need to try to keep going forward and keep believing and hoping things will be better, right? And I think
Exactly.
the song gives you the boost when you need a boost, I think.
Yeah. To me, Keep the Faith was always one of it's a good song, but it was always one of those songs that I didn't rush to listen to, or
Yeah.
I like it, but it's not one of my favorites.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like you just said, it gives you a different vibe, like during a workout, or uh, recently with the whole, and I won't talk about politics on my discussions because it isn't the place for it. But it's always I'm a Biden supporter, and his slogan was keep the faith and stuff. And so I remember when he won the election, and I went on my workout that day. I had Keep the Faith on my workout playlist
Yeah.
that day, and I just thought Biden and how this country's going to become more better because of it. And I thought that slogan, "Keep the Faith," and that song just the song just gave me a whole new vibe, and it just
Yeah.
I got so much energy from listening to that song that my workout I was pouring sweat and stuff. So
Yeah, well, and like I said, fitting with the election you guys just had,
yep.
and everything we've been going through, it's certainly a song that you could see why somebody would want to use it, whether it's a campaign, whether it's just trying to get that message across, right?
Yep, exactly.
Yeah,
Next one is Someday I'll Be Saturday Night, and this is where we start to shift away from the Crush tour because the first four
yeah,
tracks are from the Crush tour. This was recorded in Melbourne, Australia, on November 10th, 1995. So These Days tour,
yeah.
obviously. And I love the way that it starts. You
Me too.
hear John
Me
playing
too.
guitar, then
Yeah.
hey man, and John, like you just hear John for the first 30 seconds, and it's so
Yeah.
good. And then all of a sudden you hear the boom, boom, da, 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 da. Yeah, I love that.
And actually, on that tour, the one I saw, it was about maybe 6 weeks or so after the album came out. They actually closed the show with Saturday Night. It was the last track they
Really,
played. Yeah, yeah.
that's cool. Yeah, I think this is a good song to close out a show with. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah. And John had a good story on talking about how he wanted to not work in a factory in New Jersey and try to take a chance on his music career, and and kind of going after his dreams. It was very uplifting. And now I know you're a lyric guy, so
Mhm.
even though we're doing a live record, I'm going to break the rules here for a minute if you're okay with that.
Hey, break the
What
rules. Man.
What is your favorite line on the Saturday Night song?
Um, I would probably say, yeah, I'm down, but I know I'll get by. Because that it's the truth. Like that you'll get through it, and there's a light ahead. How about yours?
Or well, I have two answers to that. Ordinarily on the studio version, I like I wish I could be in some other time and place with someone else's soul, someone else's face. But on the live one, I like the part towards the latter part of the song. Mondays never go my way.
Yep.
Tuesdays are there to get thrown
Yeah,
away.
and that's on
Wednesdays like
this.
some little child. Thursdays there to drive you wild. But Fridays, Jerry, Fridays.
Yep.
All right.
It was like a black sheep,
Just like me.
just like me. Yeah, I
Yeah.
love that. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, and you also hear the band, with the band at the end, the da da
Yeah.
da 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 da. It's back and forth, and that's how they conclude the song. I love it.
It's a great sing along song when you do get to see them live too. It does have that. We talk about the like a lot of Bon Jovi tracks do. It just
Mhm.
has that energy too when you see them do it
Yeah,
in concert, and it's just a feel good song. I think.
yeah, and the band is still so good at it. Obviously, you have a new lineup, but they still do such a damn good job at it. Like I was watching some of the performances of the song from 2019 when they were overseas,
Yeah.
and and John really loves playing this song live, and you can tell by the way
Yeah.
he plays it and stuff. Like he's waving his guitar up, and
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
mhm.
Yeah.
um,
It's definitely fun. I think it's might not be when you think of Bon Jovi a song that comes into the average person's mind right away.
yeah,
But it is such a really good song, and I know with Crossroads at the time, always was such a monster hit. But this was
yeah,
also such a great addition to that greatest hits package, right?
yeah. And it's funny too because Saturday Night almost went into These Days album,
Yes.
and
Yeah. Yeah.
it makes you wonder. Like you said, always was such a monster hit, so you kind of wonder if Saturday Night was kind of the forgotten one
Yeah.
as far as being promoted. And it was obviously a hit, but it wasn't as big of a hit as Always. It was kind of forgotten about, but
Yeah. For
good song.
sure.
Next one is actually a cover, Rockin' in the Free World, which was recorded in South Africa on December 1st, 1995, These Days tour. And it was actually a song originally recorded by Neil Young. And
Canadian Neil Young.
Canadian now, yeah, there you go. And it's it, if they're going to release a live album, obviously they have to release a couple covers because
Of
they
course.
are the king of covers.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying this because they're my favorite band,
No.
but the band or John can touch anyone else's song, and they, for some reason, make it 10 times better.
I was thinking that the other day listening to this record. I was really happy for the covers on here on this One Wild Night collection. Most of the songs that they cover, being a music fan like yourself and a collector, but sometimes they play the odd song over the years that I never knew that song until Bon Jovi played it. And when I go back and listen to the original version, or even one that I did know, I do find I like their version. In most cases, actually, to not insult the original artist, but I like it better because I just find they do such a beautiful job of covering. Like, they did Rockin' All Over the World, I've seen. I just love With a Little Help from My Friends. And I've seen this one in concert myself, too, with, Neil Young's track, which I just think they do an amazing job on. Also on this record, if nobody out there watching has heard it before, certainly top notch, right?
Absolutely. Can't Help Falling in Love, Hallelujah, Old Time Rockin'. The list goes on.
Yeah.
It's amazing how they can touch someone else's song and just make it so much sound better and so forth. But
or work it into Bad Medicine with Show and those type of songs, right?
Yeah. And I also love that they opened up with this song too at different shows. With Rockin' in the Free World. They opened up a few times on that tour with this song, which I thought was pretty cool.
Definitely a great opener. It has that fast-paced energy,
especially the drums in the intro. I love that.
Yeah, me too.
And then at the end of this song too, you get another band jam session in a way. Especially with Richie and Tico. I love the way Tico pounds the drums in this song, especially at the end there. Oh, so freaking good.
And it's not just that they cover songs, but I think the just choices they make to cover songs, the ones they choose, I think, are always so fitting and I think really works well in their set lists. Because there's a million songs you can cover, and I always find the ones they pick just seem to be right in that moment.
Yeah. Next one is Something to Believe In, and this is my favorite performance on this album.
I'm not surprised. Yeah.
What's that?
I'm not surprised to hear you say that. Yeah.
Yeah. It was recorded in, I'm probably going to say this wrong, and I am sorry, Yokohama, Japan, on May 19th, 1996. Have you ever watched, first of all, that entire show is probably one of the best shows on These Days tour. Have you ever seen that show?
I have not. I assume it's on YouTube.
Okay, my friend. After this, you are going to do yourself a favor. Go on YouTube, watch this entire show. It is incredible. This Something to Believe In, you'll play on repeat because it's so. Yeah. Once you watch that performance, you'll listen to this song in a different light because there's a lot of emotion into it.
I'll have to check
John's vocals truly blow me away on this song, especially at the end. Yeah. When he's screaming Something to Believe In and he's holding those notes. Damn, talk about goosebumps, and it just makes you proud as a Bon Jovi fan.
It's such a heartfelt meaning, and just you feel the passion, don't you?
You sure do. And I love the way they end the song too with the hey, 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 hey.
Me too. Yeah.
And then you'll see it at the end of the video, when John's doing this and stuff, and cueing the band to stop playing, and I just, man, you gotta do yourself a favor and watch this.
I will check it out.
People that are watching, I'm sure people that are watching or listening to this right now are like, I've never seen that. Do yourselves a favor, go on YouTube and watch it. It is truly an incredible performance.
And I thought it was a real interesting choice for the live record because, you could have put another hit on there like Bed of Roses or Always. I know we're going to talk about things that were missed at the end of the session, but I love the fact that they put a song like this on here because when you go to a real Bon Jovi concert, you get those, couple of, diehard fan tracks, the B-sides, if you will, that don't become greatest hits. And, the band likes to play it for themselves for something different, but, fans like you and I love to hear them too. Yeah. And just to have that on this album was a really, I think, really solid choice for them to do that.
Absolutely.
And it being such an amazing version, how could you not want to put it on to begin with? But, it might have been easier to choose a greatest hit, but to put that on there, I think gives this album a whole other layer of live experience.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
something to believe in, like you said, it's definitely a die-hard favorite. It may not be a general population favorite, but
No.
with diehards like us, like we truly treasure that
Yeah.
song and
And Richie,
perform.
and Richie sounds great complimenting John's voice on it too. And
Oh, I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
Especially in the choruses with Richie.
Oh, yeah,
Incredible.
yeah, yeah.
Next one is Wanted, Dead or Alive. Obviously, they had to put this one on here. It was recorded in New York City on September 20th, 2000 during Crush Tour. It's actually the second single released to promote this album. What I like about this track is the guitar entry. So it kind of shines a light on Richie playing, that fun, not the not the original entry, the dun, 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 not that, but like the first 3 seconds of the live track here. You hear Richie
I
having
like
fun.
that. I like that.
Yeah,
It gives you that because anyone's seen Bon Jovi in concert, it gives you that little bit of feeling like you're there because,
yeah,
it's a little bit longer in concert, I think, but that's what you would see if you actually were there. So I like the fact they put that intro with Richie on this record too.
yeah. And Richie really shined, like I said, on the intro and then in the guitar solo. He
Yeah.
really shines
Yeah.
on this one.
Oh, for sure. And then again, is there? I was just thinking too. You watched the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction,
Yep.
and you remember Howard Stern, Howard Stern, singing this song, and just thinking about that
Oh
now,
yeah.
making me want to laugh a
Yeah.
little. But
Uh,
is there really though? Is there a better song you could have than "Wanted"?
yeah.
He is right. You know,
Yes.
so. But yeah, it is such a really great song. I've seen it in different parts in the set. First time I took my wife to a Bon Jovi concert. This is the one they actually closed the whole night with during the encore. And it's one of the ones. It's one of the ones you look forward to. I think it was the Have a Nice Day tour, but it was one of the ones you look forward to, and just the music and the lyrics. Sometimes you tell the day by the bottle that you drink, and everything about the song just works, and it's just so cool. And as being a kid growing up, it was like the third Bon Jovi song I probably heard at the time, being such a massive hit when Slippery was over, like I told you. And it sounds just as good today as it did, back in the 80s.
Yeah.
Never gets old.
A lot of people are gonna shun me for this, but I'm not a. I like the song. I like the lyrics more than the actual song itself. I do like Wanted, but it's one of those songs that I don't normally always listen to.
Okay.
And
I am going to shine you for it.
if I haven't been shunned now, I'm gonna be
Yeah.
because I prefer This Left Feels Right version
Oh, really?
over. Hmm. I don't
Okay.
know. I like that sound better. That
Okay.
gong
Yeah.
gong.
Yeah.
That's neither here nor there. But so next one is Runaway,
Yeah.
and so we finally have an 80s live track.
Yeah.
So this was recorded in Tokyo, Japan on April 28th, 1985 during the 7800 tour. And this is when they were still openers.
That's
And
right.
another really cool, they didn't just go into the song. They do the, heavy guitars, with Richie and stuff. So that was pretty cool. My only wish and I can see why they did that version instead of the one I'm going to say. I love the way that they did this on the Crush tour when it was just John and David and it was more of a ballad.
Yeah.
And I wish they would have kind of done this with that, but I can see why they chose the 80s version
Yeah, I
instead.
can see why on this record they did, but I do like what they did on the Crush tour. I agree with you. And I love when you see a show or you listen to an album like this, and I love just hearing those subtle changes to a track. Whether it's like we said, the little differences in Saturday Night, or whether it's something like when you see Runaway on certain different tours. I love when Bon Jovi changes it up a little bit. So it's and we get to Bad Medicine. That's such a fun song live
Oh,
that 10-15 minutes long. It's just amazing how like an epic,
yeah.
just a blast of power. But I love when they do those little differences, and with Runaway too. But I see why on this version they kept it true to form.
Yeah. And I have to go back on the guitar intro on this song because I'm thinking of In and Out of Love.
Mhm.
That's the next one. Not Runaway. They start out with the piano. Well, I don't know what I was thinking there.
Right.
I'm definitely shunned now
You're doing fine.
But let's go to the next one, In and Out of Love,
Yeah.
and that's obviously the guitar intro and stuff. And
Yeah.
that was the same show in Tokyo, and I like that song, and I wish we still saw that one live. But I do like how they had this version on this album.
I don't recall myself ever seeing this song done live. I'm sure you have, where you've seen Bon Jovi a little more than I have. I don't recall me personally ever being, in the building for the song.
In and Out of Love.
Yeah.
They only ever did it on the first few tours.
Yeah.
After I don't think it saw the light of day after Keep the Faith.
Okay.
In 2010, they started to bring songs from the debut and the 7800 album, and the first leg of the tour they did. And I was surprised even though I Love didn't make it, but they did, Get Ready.
Yeah.
I think they did She Don't Know Me, Come Back, Only Lonely was
Only
on
Lonely. I like Only Lonely.
Homebound Train, made a return. I'll Let It Rock.
Yeah, yeah.
Next one is I Don't Like Mondays. And that was recorded in London on June 25th, 1995. I believe that's one of the Wembley shows. And Bob Geldof, this is another cover, obviously, by the Boomtown Rats.
Yeah.
And Bob Geldof joins this track, which is
that's right.
Cool. I'm kind of surprised they put this on the album, though, but I'm glad. I dig it.
This was when, being such a big fan, this was the track I was most excited about when I went to get the album that day, because I knew that they did this song with Bob Geldof, and I've seen clips on video channels at the time and so forth during the These Days tour. I mean, and apparently, I guess maybe you have it, but there was a special These Days collection where I Don't Like Mondays was on it, and I really wanted it bad, and I couldn't get it, and just liking the song so much and seeing a video of it. When I looked at the track list, even though Prayer is my favorite live Bon Jovi song, and it's about songs like Something to Believe In, I thought, okay, that was such a real cool choice. I think the song I was most excited to have when it came out was to see I Don't Like Mondays on it, because I really wanted to have a copy of that, and I really thought they do such a nice job of that cover, and because it was a rare track, I was so glad they added to this album. It's probably the song I was most excited about.
But it's funny too because obviously you didn't know what the track listing was going to be until you bought the album,
right?
Because it was online to figure. So I remember, like I said, I became a fan in June 2000. This album came out in May 2001, so I've been a fan for 11 months, and I was still getting there. I remember Crush was the first album that I got, then Crossroads, then Blaze of Glory, then Slippery, and I think by the time May 2001 came around, I had all the albums. But so I was kind of wondering what live tracks that they were going to put on this. And I remember going to the store, my dad taking me to the store, me as a kid, my dad saying, stay with me because my dad's walking. And I'm filled with energy and excitement. And I remember my dad held the CD until we got into the car. And I remember and my dad thankfully put the CD in the car for me. But I'm looking at I'm telling a whole long story here just to get to the point here. So my point is, I remember looking at these track listings, and I'm like, I don't know the song I Don't Like Mondays. Is that a Bon Jovi song? I don't remember that on any of the albums. So I thought to myself, oh my gosh, I don't have a Bon Jovi. There's a Bon Jovi album I'm still missing. and then I see it featuring Bob Geldof. I'm like, who's? And so as a 9-year-old kid, I'm like, I don't even know who that is. Who is that?
Exactly.
So later on down the road, my dad tells me, okay, it's a cover, and this is who Bob Geldof is. And I remember freaking out. I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know who. I don't know the song. What song is? I thought it was a Bon Jovi song.
You and I had the exact opposite reactions to this song when it was released.
Well,
I was really up here, and you were really down here. But but I was so happy it was included, and I like stuff like that. And those, it is. It's just such a cool addition to the album, and it, being rare, I was really happy they included it.
And Bob Geldof is such a very talented singer. I really like his voice on the song.
Yeah, he is.
Next one is Just Older, and that was recorded in Toronto, November 27, 2000. Crush tour, obviously. I really don't have much to say about it. It definitely a live track, and I love that bridge.
Yeah.
You know, tell Coach T that I've cut my hair and stuff like that. So
Yeah, and it's as you do get older, as we said, it's a song I think that comforts you with your age, right?
yeah, I turned 29 next week, and it's hard to believe that this is the last year before I turn 30.
Really, I just turned 30 last year, so
Yeah, I was gonna
No.
say 25. I was gonna say 25.
Yeah, that's right. I'm on my like 28th anniversary of that or something. So, but yeah, it is a really cool song, and like the old torn jeans and the bed I'm sleeping in, like you said, fine wine, right? You just
Yeah.
you get better with age, and it's it has a cool message to it, I think,
Mhm.
and it is also another fun song to have live, and I can
Yeah.
see why the band chose to put it on this collection, right? Because just coming off such a successful Crush tour at the time, and it being such a fun song to hear live, and I think it's a song that resonates with a lot of people, right? And even you in a few years' time will probably put it on and think, yeah, okay, it's my birthday, I'm getting old, let's listen to this
Yeah.
track.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like when I was younger, everyone that's older than me right now, or you are probably thinking, dude, you're nuts. You're only 28, 29. You're young. Yeah, I'm young, but when I was younger, I look at this song and go, I'm not old at all. But now I'm starting to feel like I'm getting older because like now, like with my workouts, I get sore now after, or things start to hurt, and
Yeah.
29 is starting for me. That's starting to look scary. Because next year I'm going to be 30. I'm no longer
That's when it hits you, right?
yeah.
That's when it
So
hits you. Yeah. When you get to
uh,
30, it hits you.
yeah. Next one is Something for the Pain, and that was recorded in Melbourne, Australia, November 10th, 1995. These Days tour. I do love the intro to this, with the guitar, the dun 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 dun, dun, then all of a sudden, Tito, the boom, then the band comes alive, and I love this live
Me too.
version.
Me
Pretty
too.
good.
Yeah, I love that. I was just listening the other day, and just that opening notes that Richie plays, and it goes into it, and it is another, like I said, song that I think you can relate to when you're having a bad day. I've seen this in concert myself a few times. I enjoyed it on the collection. Have you ever watched them do it? It was the MTV Awards, I'll say, probably around 1995, I guess, 96, doing this in Times Square.
Yeah,
You watched
that's
that?
good. It's a good
Yeah.
performance. Yeah.
Yeah, if anybody hasn't checked that out, opening with Helter Skelter, and then going into Something for the Pain was a real cool,
Yeah.
a cool music show appearance.
Yeah. And I also love the way Richie sings. I think it's in the bridge, when he's
Mhm.
back. He actually has a part in the song where he's on lead vocals. I like that. Uh, Next one is Bad Medicine. And it was recorded in Zurich, Switzerland, August 30th, 2000, Crush Tour. I was maybe it's because they put two other covers on this, but I was surprised that we got a short version of
Me
this
too.
song with no covers and
Mm.
because they really or they really enhanced the song with a live cover,
Yeah.
and, like shout and stuff. So I was surprised that they didn't put that on this.
Yeah, it ran a little short.
Yeah,
I thought 'cause if you see the real concert, it does have, like you said, those parts that maybe for the time it was a CD time in 72, 73 minutes.
yeah,
Maybe just for time's sake, it got cut. I guess. I'm not sure because you're right.
that's it.
Yeah, because the parts that you do see in the song certainly enhance the energy in it, kind of the party atmosphere of the song because it is such a great song, right?
Yeah.
And yeah,
And I'm glad you brought up the time because another thing is too, I'm surprised we got 15 songs out of,
yeah,
usually you get 10 or 12. So
yes,
maybe
that's
that
right.
was a reason.
Yeah,
Uh, the last one is One Wild Night, which are, and this was, I was kind of surprised that this wasn't they didn't put a live chat, but they put like a new,
hmm.
obviously it's different than the Crush's version of One Wild Night.
Yeah,
And obviously the one on this isn't live, it's just a re-recorded
right.
version. But it's I like it. Which version do you like better, the Crush version or the One Wild Night version?
I like it too. I'd probably say the Crush version a little bit more.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's because the first one that you hear, maybe that causes the bias, but I thought it was a neat remix, a neat rework, a way to promote the live album. I think it was smart at the time. But yeah, I think I would go with the original Crush version. I think.
Yeah.
How about you? You like the
Yeah.
Crush? Yeah.
Yeah. Especially like that, the as John called it, the cha 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 music,
Yeah.
like that. Dun, 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 then boom, 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 boom. But yeah, so, you know, great track. But let's start talking about songs that we wish were
Okay.
on this. Like I said, it's a shame that none of the performances from Slippery Tour, New Jersey Tour, or Keep the Faith Tour got on this.
Yeah.
I could see their defense, because towards the end of both the Slippery and the New Jersey Tour, John's vocals were shot,
Yeah.
and because they were just working so hard, and no fault to him. But they could still put performances from the beginning of those tours on here. Like you said, Lay Your Hands on Me. That could have made the album. Or
that would be an excellent choice. Yeah. Yeah.
My favorite performance and with how big Wembley was, I'm surprised that besides I Don't Like Mondays, nothing from Wembley got put on here. Like Always, for example, if I could go to one performance to experience, that song would be Always from Wembley '95.
Yeah, I had the VHS tape at the time when it came out.
Yeah.
And it talked about goosebumps. It just such a really, really good live performance. And the extra lyrics put in it and the solo at the end, and it was just so soulful and so powerful. And like I said, if anybody hasn't checked it out, certainly look at that concert and that particular song in that concert. That would have been a great addition to it. And where they had the audio and everything already done fine, because like I said, they record the Wembley shows for VHS at the time.
Yeah, the audio was there.
Yeah, it would have been a nice addition.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
What other performances do you think should have been on this album?
Well, Lay Your Hands on Me and Always would have been really good. I would have liked to say too some of those New Jersey ones. Like I heard a live recording of Ride Cowboy Ride. I would have liked something like that on there. And Stick to Your Guns. Some of the more vintage, hidden or B-side tracks that weren't necessarily massive hits. I think that they would have been really good choices for me personally. I think off of Keep the Faith. A song I personally love it was the first Bon Jovi song I ever saw live. I always enjoyed I Believe. That's a song I always had on there. If you're putting a double set, I get why it's not on the original 15-track album, but I think I Believe is a song I always enjoyed. And I think that
I love the way they open up with it. Yeah.
Yeah. That's they opened with the Keep the Faith tour when I saw them. And that's one I always really enjoyed. And it would have been a cool way to open this album or even CD2.
Mm-hmm. It's amazing. I can see why they did covers, but they could have took out both covers and put Lay Your Hands on Me, Born to Be My Baby should have been on here. I'm trying to think of other songs that should have been on here. In
These Arms, perhaps. Yeah.
I could see Sleep When I'm Dead being put on this as well.
This ain't a love song too is another one they didn't.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's I think they should put more songs from Crush on here. Well, I guess they did. It's My Life, Just in One Night, so they did. Yeah, there's so many incredible performances from from the Keep the Faith. They had and even with Bon Jovi.
Yeah,
and that was an incredible show. And the audio was already there, so it just makes you wonder why the three albums didn't make it.
And that evening was so good, and that's where I first saw them do it with a little help from my friends, and a little bit of soul actually. If on that concert they did a real beautiful version of, that would have been a nice addition, perhaps, right?
Yeah, it would have. So like you said, a double album or a 3-disc edition or something. Just but it is what it is. At least we got something.
Now, a lot of bands in with lockdown and everything kind of go back and put some retro live records out. It'd be nice if we could get a double or triple, triple like mini box set or something of
Yeah.
live Bon Jovi material in it with some of these songs, even just from the vaults.
Yeah. I agree with you. And with the JBJ experience now, I think we're gonna get a lot more
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that, and yeah. But so overall, it's a great live album.
It
Um,
is.
and it would have been nice to have a DVD come with this too.
For sure, Winda, yeah, yeah. And I think like I said, I think it's underrated in the sense because Bon Jovi has such massive studio albums that people go to. But I think, like I said, it's one that I think more fans should check out because it is a really nice listen, and it does have a lot of cool live tracks on there with
Mhm.
some songs that weren't big hits and a few covers thrown in. So I think it might not be in people's top 5 choices to go to the catalog and look for One Wild Night, but it's
Yeah,
certainly certainly one I think worth checking out.
yeah, I agree with you. I had another point to that too, and I lost it. But anything else you want to say about the album?
No, just that I think it's just a nice listen, and it gives you kind of flashbacks to seeing them in concert, almost like a unofficial souvenir of your show because there's so many hits. There's so many hits on there that,
Uh,
like I said, after I go to a Bon Jovi concert, you want to hear the tour that you saw. See if you're on a Have a Nice Day tour, for example, you want to play that record. But after that, this one here is right up with that because it does give you that live flashbacks to your show, and it's almost like an audio souvenir of when you get back from seeing them in concert, right? It's
yeah,
a fun listen.
yeah, and then thank God for YouTube now and for
Yeah.
technology because now you can record. You can record a performance on your phone or look back on YouTube and have a keepsake like that. But back then you didn't. You just
No.
experience the show and it's all voice of memory.
Yeah,
So
and you had to sleep outside to get tickets.
yeah, see, that's why I'm so jealous because I would love to experience
Uh,
that.
that's a little overrated. You're not missing much there.
Let me ask you, what was your favorite tour prior to 2000?
Um, Probably
Best
keep the
show you've ever seen?
before 2000 or in total.
Both before 2000.
I'd say my first one on Keep the Faith.
Okay, after 2000.
I would say, and luckily there actually is. I mean, they're so good; it's really hard to pick. But I would say I know you were at these as well. The Madison Square Garden 2008 Lost Highway concerts,
Both
both
shows.
shows. Yeah, especially night 2. I even had better seats the second night, and they're both, of course, on Blu-ray and DVD now.
Yeah,
That they were some just because going to both nights, like you probably did, there wasn't too many songs when you left there that I wish I heard that song because they
yeah,
played such great set lists and it was just such an amazing experience and you can watch it on DVD.
yeah. It's funny too because like I was a fan club member and I was kind of in the whole Bon Jovi fandom and I was 16 at the time. And so social media was kind of starting out. There was
Yeah,
MySpace and
yeah,
Facebook and Twitter wasn't really a thing. But so like anyway, you really didn't hear anything about this being filmed. And I remember going to the venue and you saw signs you are being recorded. This is going to be put on DVD.
yeah.
I was, oh my gosh. And I think John mentioned something about it both nights too. But after that, we didn't hear a single thing about it
No.
for like a year. And then all
Yeah,
of a sudden,
yeah,
it came out in the fall of 2009,
yeah.
a year and 3 months later. So I thought that they kind of forgot about it. Or
I wonder why
wasn't,
they delayed it so long.
yeah,
When,
it's weird.
yeah, I thought we'd know that Christmas Day.
Yeah, but thankfully we still got it. So
Yeah. What was your favorite show ever? I know you have a lot to look back on
with the band, without the band,
with the band.
oh, with the band, a lot of the shows in Have a Nice Day tour was really good. And
Yeah,
that's pretty much the last time you saw them as a 5-piece band.
yeah,
Um, I'd probably be with you, and I'd say Madison Square Garden, not just on the Lost Highway tour, but other the Circle tour was great.
yeah.
Seeing the Madison Square Garden. Uh, what about Now tour? I'd say Madison Square Garden, near New Jersey and at MetLife in 13 was good.
Yeah.
I always tell people the best place to see Bon Jovi is either New Jersey or New York City because
Yeah,
John is on fire. Because obviously the whole band has to show off,
yeah,
in a good way. They have to show off for their friends and family that are going to that show, and So I always think those shows are the best.
they are, and haven't seen them in Madison Square Garden a few times. I'll add a third one on your list there, though. Montreal in Canada, Montreal, Quebec.
You know, I've always heard that, and
Yeah,
I almost went to the Montreal on the last tour, and then it got
really.
rescheduled, and I couldn't make the
Yeah,
rescheduled date, so I
yeah,
couldn't go.
yeah.
I was gonna go to that show, and then I remember, because I'm on Twitter and I'm updating people or I'm posting updates on what's going on with the show, and you guys got freaking "I'll Sleep When I'm Dead" as a show opener. As
Yeah,
a show opener, and John's in the because they with a contract said they had to get rid of the B stage and all that. But from the back of the stage, John's coming to sleep when I'm dead. You son of a I'm jealous of
And
that.
I remember seeing them, Jerry, there on the Circle tour, okay,
Yeah.
and going both nights, and they played like 2 3 hour shows. It was just amazing. And a band has everything worked out. They know their songs they're going to play in the set list. After 2.5 hours, 2:40 in, I remember they literally had a band meeting on the center of the stage. I really don't think they knew what they were going to play because earlier than he goes, you don't want to go home yet, do you? He said, that's okay. I got nowhere to go. And I really had to have a band meeting to decide the next like 4 or 5 songs they were going to play. They did about 3 or 4 encores. I'm not kidding you. It was 3 hours long. And it was just, like I said, such energy into a Bon Jovi concert. And then you go to some other artist a few months down the road, and it's just not the same passion, not the same energy, not anywhere near the time and worth your money that when you go to a Bon Jovi concert. And, they go to Montreal a lot. There was actually a big story on, they were there one year within a couple of years, then 10 times. And each concert they go to, whether it's a 50, 60,000 seat outdoor or whether it's the 20,000 indoor, they sell out, I think, virtually every time they go. And that's I think another spot for the band. For some reason, they have a lot of history there, and that's another place for you to check out. And I know you want to.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to do a show together sometime.
Awesome.
And you ever go to Toronto? I always see them in Toronto.
Yes. Yeah. Well, remember the Valentine's show we talked about on Twitter? The Thank You for Loving Me.
Yep.
Yeah, I was at those 2 shows.
I missed that one because I was in college. I couldn't make it to that show, unfortunately. But I did like 10 other shows on that tour, so it made up.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, anyway, buddy, I want to thank you for coming on today. We had a blast, as I knew we would.
Thank you for having me on.
About this album, and I hope you stay safe. And I'm sure I'll see you on Twitter.
You too. Stay safe, and thanks again, Jerry. And I enjoyed our talk. Thank you kindly.
Thanks, buddy.